Hi, this is Nelson Ranch. So, the Virgo Cup is over. um, if you've watched my video, you know that I have lost, unfortunately. I got third place. Um, the, this is the results. I'm not going to show it. The race itself, I've put that up. I don't want to revisit that over and over again. I do want to talk about this though. So, they've made this available. Not that. No, not that. They made um, the this. I don't know what to call this. The trainer test, right? But basically, um, you have to run the short distance, mile, mid distance, long distance, and dirt. Dirt is basically mile, and then there's extra and free. I haven't done the last three yet, but I did the first four, I guess. Um, and when you boost it, you actually get uh, you get what do you call it? A lot of coins. So this is probably going to be doable. The last time they did this, they gave us literally only 5 days to complete the mission. It was freaking impossible. Now they're giving us 8 days. Well, 9 days, I guess, but 8 more days. So this is probably doable to actually finish it. And when you finish it, um, they give you these coins, and with these coins you can buy these things. So you can buy 450 jewels, you can buy the shards for the rainbow, the shards for gold to upgrade your support cards, tickets, and books. Uh, Last time it was so hard to actually finish them all. All I did was to get just this, the shards, and the rare books, and I don't think I got all the books because it was literally only 5 days to actually finish it. But this time, because we've got some days, we can probably get all of them from the jewels all the way down to here. Even if you're doing only like one or two training per day. If you're doing like 2 to 3, you should probably get up to here, and then you might have extra to spend money here and here. Um, they recently introduced the dirt races, so if you want to and dirt characters are going to show up more. So if you want to increase your raise for the dirt races, you can buy them from here as well. So overall, this is going to be helpful. Anyway, uh, what I want to talk about is the Grand Live. So I've actually come to the conclusion after watching a whole bunch of people play this, on YouTube, play the game, and and matched up and watching on YouTube. You can probably make a character and make a new track, and that character is going to be almost as good as Grand Live. But if you can get to like the peak performance of Grand Live, then you will probably beat the make a new track character. But I think make a new track is still viable these days. But having said that, if you can actually figure out a pretty easy way to get your characters to a decent stat, then it's a different story. And I think uh, I explained in one of my earlier videos that you can do it if you have 3 intelligence and 3 speed cards, particularly if one of the speed cards is Swimsuit Marzensky, but it doesn't have to be. So I did this with Christmas Ogrikep, who's got 15% bonus to speed. Um, I also, so these are all Christmas Ogrikep with the same kind of lineup, hence uh, similar kind of stats, although this one didn't go as well. Yeah, similar kind of stats. None of these got mid-distance S, so I couldn't use them for the finals. If they had mid-distance S, and if this was 15 speed 1500, then would have been a different story. But such is life. Anyway, even if it's not Oguri Cap, this is Bamboo Memory for the short distance, because I thought I'd use a new character for short distance. Same format. 3 speed cards and 3 intelligence cards. The difference here is that instead of using Agnes Tachyon here, I decided to use Agnes Tachyon over here and use Subitosho because I was hoping to get cuteness. It didn't come, by the way. But you know, I put all the points into power. I put none into stamina, and she can barely run the short distance of 1200. If there's a debuff, she'll sink, but she can do it because it's a short distance. So this is doable. You can get that 1600, 1200, 1200 stat here. This is vodka. Here, I actually put that's in power, but that's power, and that's stamina, and this is all stamina. Stamina, stamina, stamina. So this is 9 plus that's 12 stamina and 5 power. And I got similar kind of stats with 3 intelligence and 3 speed cards. Instead of Sweep Tosho, I decided to use the SR card for the skills, Asian Flash, and I was able to get these skills from her. It worked out. So I think in short distance and in mile, if you're not worried about guts and this character because she's got this skill on her own, but I forgot about this when I actually trained her and I got her this. I figure I'll get both. Um, but if you put a lot of inheritance stamina, and if you have a little bonus on speed or power, then you can do this. You can do the 1600, 1200, 1200 build with enough stamina to run the mile. So short distance and mile is doable. The problem was mid distance. Mid distance was doable for Oguri Cap simply because Oguri Cap has a unique skill that increases the recovery, that has a recovery component, and she needs 3 recovery skills to trigger this. So she's going to have a total of 4 recoveries. So obviously she can actually run mid distance without a problem. She could probably even run long distances if there are no debuffs. Megiddo Palmer is also a character that's got a recovery component, so I tried to give her a shot, and here I consciously chose to, put everything into stamina. So this is 8 stamina, and then this is I just chose this because this is 9 stamina. So 8, 9, that's 17 stamina. That's the maximum you can put in, and you get this much. And if you have that much, I chose Mino Top Gun here because Mino Top Gun gives this skill. So with that skill and that skill, and these dropped from Kitasan Black, I could have gotten the skill for mid distance, but I chose not to because I thought maybe if I have enough stamina, maybe this can run in like long distance if it's like 2500, possibly even 3000. So instead of getting a skill from Suzuka, I used the skill from Bourbon and got concentration. So these characters are primarily for the stadium, but regardless, right? The power goes down because I'm not putting anything into power, and there's nothing I can do about that. But the stamina goes up instead, and Palmer can probably run, mid distance. Not can. She can run mid distance, and she can probably run the shorter versions of the long distances, like 2500 or 2600, without a hitch. And being Palmer, she's got the Onige skill as well. Now, I don't know how effective it's going to be, but the point is, this is doable. It's not 1600 because I actually focused on getting stamina high, so I didn't step on stamina at every single opportunity I had. Plus, I gotta say, these two are not as good as Mizuki Maruzensky and what's her name? Agnes Tachyon. So it might make more sense to actually borrow Mizuki Maruzensky and have 2 speed cards here, but then the problem is the recovery. Where do you get your recovery? If you rely just on this, I don't think you can run mid distances. So this speed intelligence build is doable for mid distance if you have these characters. Now, if you're running let me do support cards. doesn't matter. SSR speed. Oh wait, uh, this, and then SSR speed. Um, it turns out that there's a gold recovery skill if you are a runner. You can get it from my own Top Gun. You can get a gold recovery skill in the mile if you are in the back. Uh, this card will give it to you. Not that you need it. If you are a chaser, you can get a gold recovery skill from this card. This gold recovery skill is not that good from what I understand. It's basically the same as the one that Satono Diamond gives. Satono Diamond is the stamina card, the one that people made fun of or used to make fun of. This card here. Well, not the card, but the skill. They used to make fun of this skill because you could get this skill from Kiryuin, Aoi, and URA, and nobody used it because this would never go off. It goes off a little bit more often now, but you know it doesn't. You can't really rely on it, and that's unfortunate for chasers. That's this skill here. Now, there's also a skill for betweeners. If you have Rob Roy, like you know, I have these single copies that are totally useless. But this is actually a very good recovery skill for a betweener. And if you are a leader, then you can get the very first welfare card from Special Week, that's Speed, which I do not have because I did not play the game at the time. But that Speed Special Week card basically gives the same skill that Oguri Kep has, which is Big Eater, and that's a guaranteed. That's a skill that's pretty much guaranteed to go off if you're a leader, no matter where you are in the position. So you can use speed cards to get recoveries for all four types of runners, whether you are for all four types, whether you are a runner, leader, betweener, or chaser. So they've actually made things more. They've tried to equalize things there. Now the problem is long distance. There's no way that normal characters can run long distance with just this much stamina and only one gold recovery skill. It's just not possible. I mean, like if you put in everything into stamina, and if you have like 18 climax scenario factors, then your stamina and guts will probably go up from the factors, and so you might actually be able to get away with a speed intelligence build. But I don't think you can. So if you can, what can you do? And I tried this. This is a 2 speed, 2 intelligence, 2 stamina deck. So it's a classic speed stamina deck. And with 2 speed, you can get it up to 1200. And with 2 stamina, you can also get it up to 1200. I chose this card because this card is a card that most people should have at this point. This is a welfare card. I could have used the other welfare card, the Biwa Hayahide card, but these two cards, working together can actually get you to speed and stamina 1200, right? I don't know if people have these two cards. That's a different story. And for intelligence, well, it didn't go up that high, right? I mean, the best card I've got is this card, Serious Symbole. If you're doing championship meetings or anything, then you, as I explained in a previous video, you want Non-Stop Girl. So if you have a choice to put in 2 speed cards, then these are the 2 speed cards that I would put in. Your best speed card plus Non-Stop Girl. If you can't get Non-Stop Girl, then put in Fine Motion or something to get the lower version of Non-Stop Girl. So 1200, and then when you jack up the 1200, if you do this is power, this is intelligence, this is intelligence, and I think this is all power. Power. Yeah, so that's 9. That's 12 power and 5 intelligence. Right? 12 power and 5 intelligence. When the speed goes up, power goes up too, but the inheritance basically jacks up the power. Intelligence, the only way to raise this is basically by clicking on intelligence with your intelligence cards and by getting inherits, and I get 5 inherits here. And so that one suffered a fair amount. It turns out that they've buffed stamina cards, so that when you do stamina training, it really raises your guts training. So I didn't put any inherits into guts, and yet my guts went up to 800 if I got my stamina up to 1200. So this is actually not bad, right? 1200 to 1000, 1200 to 800. I suppose if things go really well, then I might be able to get the speed to like maybe 1300, possibly 14, but I really doubt it. And here, I was lucky and I got stamina up to 1200, and this ran as well. So if you have 2, recovery skills and stamina 1200, even with no, recovery component here in your unique skill, you can run a 3200 match without a hitch with this. So I'm beginning to think that this is probably the solution. 2 speed, 2 stamina. Now, intelligence. If you're willing to sacrifice intelligence, then you would just have 1 Yukino Bijin, and you would have 3 speed cards, and 2 here. But I gotta say, having 2 speed cards was helpful, because when your health is low, you can click on speed, and speed is one training where it increases your health, so you can keep training more and more. Plus, even if you screw up speed training, you don't actually go down in eagerness. So speed training is actually quite useful, even if it's looks like you're not going to make it. Like, well, give it a shot, and you click it, and if it goes off, then hey. If it doesn't go off, and it just keeps screwing you up, then just click the retire button. But anyway, so I ran these characters as sort of a testing while doing the the trainer test, and I've come to the conclusion that depending on which race the next championship meeting is going to be, if it's mile, I'm probably going to do Grand Live, and if it's long distance, I'm going to try and do Mant again and see what results I can get. Now, in the meantime, I will try to do Mant Mile, and I will also try to do long distance Grand Live on the side. But for the next championship meetings, for the future championship meetings, as far as I can tell, because Mant is almost as good as Grand Live, if it's long distance, I'm probably going to do make a new track. And the explanation is pretty simple. So let's say you do this. You have 1200 speed and 1200 stamina, and I can run the 3200. Well, it turns out that if you can jack up stamina to 1200, then if you can jack up guts to 1200, then you don't need stamina 1200 to run that 3200. You need only stamina like 700 or something like that if you have like these 2 recovery skills. So this is actually speed 1200 plus 600 and change, because guts is 1/6. So if it's 1200, like you can make a new track, then that's actually speed 1400. If I can get this to like 1400 speed, because I'm really lucky and these just keep popping, I get the speed 1400. That's effectively speed 1300 plus about 100. So it's about speed 1400 again. And at the very last, stretch, guts is pretty important. And if I can get, guts 1200, I can also probably get guts 1200, power 1200. And if you do make a new track, because we don't rely that much on speed cards, you're gonna get. But even though you don't rely on speed, because you get 1200 speed, you're gonna have 1200 speed. I don't know, maybe like 700 stamina, 800 stamina, 1200 power, 1200 guts, and if you're going for high stamina, then not as high in intelligence, like 600 or 800 intelligence, which is about the same as this one. In which case, I think make a new track, the numbers seem to suggest that make a new track will probably be better. But as you can tell from this, you can get a lot of skills in Grand Live. So if you have a lot of SSR cards and they all run their chains and they're useful SSR, if they give useful skills, then Grand Live is also still an option. What I want to say is I don't know what to do. I lost the Virgo Cup. I don't want to lose again. Losing twice in a row kind of sucks. You can't win them all. I know that, so losing one here is fine. But I do want to win the next one. And when I think about trying to win the next one, I'm thinking I probably need to adjust the scenario depending on the length of the championship meeting. And you also want to look at your support cards and how good your support cards are. If you happen to have a support card, if you happen to have a set of support cards that help you out in Ground Live more, then you should do Ground Live. And if you have a set of support cards that help you out more and make a new track, in other words, you have a lot of guts cards, then you should do make a new track. I've spent a fair amount of money. But I have crapped for stamina cards. I have not a single stamina card that is from the gacha. All these level 50 stamina cards that I have are basically welfare cards. So everybody's got these if you've been playing this game. For the speed cards, in the previous round of gacha, I pulled for Agnes Tachyon, and I got this to level 50. But beyond that, I only had one, which was this. And all the other cards, they sort of drop here and there. And if it's a welfare card, I've maxed them out. But I don't have the most important welfare card, which is Special Week, which gives healing. This Silent Suzuka also gives healing as well, but it's pretty weak. Okay. Weirdly enough, I have actually done probably the best in terms of power cards, because I have Yai no Muteki at level 50, and I have Admire Vega at level 50, and I've got this one here, King Halo, at level 45, so she's useful. And these are all welfare cards. Here. But in both Make a New Track and in Grand Live, there's very little use for power cards. So it's part of the reason why I'm not going to pull the current gacha, because the current gacha is a power card. Dice Ruby is a power card, so I'm going to save my jewels here. In terms of guts cards, mine's not that good as well. I have only two really good guts cards, and that's this, Equinodictus, and this one here, Major Palmer. And the rest is either welfare cards or they slip past. Now, for guts cards, the good news is that turns out that the SR cards are still useful. And I was using Oguri Cap and Ayabe-san. Where are you? Here. And Serious Symboli from the SR deck to actually get my stats up really high and make a new track. And if I keep doing make a new track, I'll continue to use the SR. So I can do a guts deck. And then lastly, it would be intelligence. Take out guts. It makes it too crowded. So this card, I don't know how, I got to 50. It's like, one card slipped past another. This card I pulled for and I got to level 50. I did 2 ceilings for this. I saved up the jewels for that. And this card, I also have up to 45. So I have 3 cards from the speed side that I can use. Mr. CB is a nice card to have. Unfortunately, I need to pop a what do you call it? A crystal. So I need to pop a crystal. I've been playing the game for a while, so I have this most important welfare card for the speed. This is Mihono Bourbon. If you're gonna do a runner, you pretty much need the skill from Bourbon. You need this skill here. Ideally, you want this skill and Jigatame, but you know, one or the other will do. So if you're not gonna use Jigatame, then you gotta use this. So Jigatame can be had from Power card and Guts card. Jigatame can be had from, where are you? Smart Falcon. She gives it as a she drops it as part of her chain. So in the very first one of her chain, if you choose top, you get Jigatame from Smart Falcon. But this is a power card, so people probably wouldn't use that card. And I don't think I have that card. Yeah, I don't. If you have Sakura Bakushingo's Guts card, Sakura Bakushingo Guts card in the very first chain, in the very first event in the her chain, also drops Jigatame as well. So otherwise, what that means is you basically have to put Jigatame in your inherits, which I have done in the past, and they look kind of like this. Do it by name. So Jigatame 3, Jigatame 3, Jigatame 2. And you just ignore, the blue and the pinks, and you just do everything in your power to get the Jigatame from from your parents as an inherited drop in April of your second year or your third year. This I remember doing this, and this just sucked real bad. Part of the reason why I don't do runners these days that much. I've basically stopped doing runners for a while. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the Virgo Cup that I lost. Sucks. About the future, whether you're going to be Grand Live or make a new track, and what kind of decks that you want to have. Do you want to do a speed intelligence deck for Grand Live, or do you want to do speed stamina for long distance in Grand Live, or do you want to do a guts deck for make a new track? And that will all depend on what kind of cards that you have, what your support card is. So that's it for now. I talked for a long time, 30 minutes of rambling. Probably don't need to listen to me to ramble like this. But there you go. All right. I hope you guys who were listening to me had better luck than me in the championship meeting. And I'll see you guys around. Take it easy.